Today we're going to be talking about how to scale to 7 figures from ground zero. Just by a show of hand, how many people here are online fitness coaches right now? By a show of hand. A little higher? Okay, great. How many make a full-time living right now online as online fitness coaches? Great. How many people want to? Okay, great. All right, so this is going to be really geared to everybody who wants to start, grow, and scale their online fitness business without using spammy tactics, without being social media famous, and without anything sleazy. How's that sound? Awesome. So I've been doing this for quite a while. I started back in 2008 as a broken, burned out personal trainer, pretty much trying to figure out if there was any alternatives to making money other than working for my boss, working 50 to 60 hours a week, and essentially making him rich and not me rich. So when I started, I really didn't have any aspirations whatsoever to be a 6-figure earner or a 7-figure earner. These were like foreign concepts growing up. Money was not something that we talked about in my family. I was never really numbers driven, external driven. For me, it all just started with curiosity. It was just pure curiosity. What is possible if I applied myself and gave this a shot? Here we go. We got slides here so we can get back right on track here. So for me, there was no desire to get rich. There was no desire to get wealthy. It was out of pure curiosity. I really was just curious to see what could I create if I applied myself the same way I did in the gym to a business. And this is really everything that I've learned over the last 18 years. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about how smart fit pros are using 5 simple steps to predictably scale to consistent 20, 40, and even $80,000 months without working 60 to 70 hours a week. All right, here we go. So a very merciful, brief introduction. You're going to see my kiddos in just a second, but I'm a dad. I've got 3 kids, 11, 9, and 6. I built 4 different 7-figure fitness businesses. These are kind of my claims to fame. I did that in the first 12 years of being online. So I never became a business coach after a couple months of struggling as a fitness coach. I'm not one of those guys. God bless them. Nothing wrong with them. Not bad people. But I did this just like you guys for 12 years. I was one of the very first fitness YouTubers back in the day with guys like 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗀𝗁𝗃, 𝗤𝘂𝗀𝗁𝗃, before this really was a thing. After 12 years, after I got really sick and tired of just telling people what's better, the leg press or the squat, I decided to be a business coach. And my business mentor, 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗁𝗃, pushed me into leading the charge and helping fit pros basically take their passion and their credibility and do this online. Over the last 8 years, we've helped 3,500 fit pros start, grow, and scale. 400 of those have become 6- and 7-figure earners. So everything that you're learning today is happening by formula, not by fluke. Is that reassuring? And this is not stuff that came out 5 seconds ago. So I believe that fatherhood is the best hood. How many dads are in the room? Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, this is honestly, these kids mean everything to me. Emilia, Gianluca, and Aubriana. And we have an absolute blast. And as you probably saw, there was no mom in the picture. And I'm going to tell you a bit about, there is a mom in the picture, but not in that picture. I just want to help you understand where a lot of what I'm teaching now has to do with probably the most catastrophic event that happened to me 2 years ago, which we'll get to in a moment. So who is this for and who's this not for? Really, this is for anyone who's looking to optimize 3 things. We talk about optimizing our health, right? But what do we talk about when we want to optimize our business? For me, it's fun. I never used the word fun in a long time. Now it's profits and it's client results. These are pretty much my North Stars. When I've created my own scoreboard, that's on the scoreboard. Who this is not for is people who want to ride the scale train. Me and Andrew talk a lot about this, but I really feel like this industry is messed up. There is a lot of people who have this obsession with just more, bigger, bigger. And I call it the satanic cult of scaling. All right. There's nothing wrong with scaling. People who scale are not bad people, but I really got caught up in just trying to keep up. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but there is a lot at stake if you don't do it right. All right. And I tried to do this and it cost me. All right. So we're going to teach you guys how to grow. If you're just all about acquisition and ads and bigger, and your thing is to build a big organization, a big enterprise. I don't know how to do that. That is not my specialty. That's not something I plan on doing. I admire guys who've done that, but I am not that guy. Everything I've done, I consider very attainable. I consider myself successful, but I don't consider myself so far out there that anyone in this room can't do it. All right. I was average at everything in school, including long distance running, my schooling, bodybuilding, everything I touched. It was just like, I felt like average. That's why my brand is called Level Up or Level Off, because I'm just a product of leveling up. Anybody a product of leveling up? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So we know who this is for, who this is not for. Nobody's left the room yet. That's totally cool if you want to scale, but this is not the focus of today. So just really quick story. I'm going to try and go through this presentation as fast as I can so we can save some time for questions at the end. So if you have questions, write them down. But there's two stories. There's my original story when I was working in the gym, and then there's the story of when I really got online. So this story, how many people are in the gym right now kind of trading their time for money, just by show of hands? Okay, so this story is going to resonate more with you guys. So this is when I was working at the 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗀𝗁 for $10 an hour after a $50,000 university degree. And my dad asked me an interesting question. He said, are you going to be a personal trainer when you're 35? If there was anybody whose advice I respected more than my dad's, it was his. And I thought, yeah, maybe. What's wrong with that? I went to ask my boss for a raise the next day because that question did trigger me. And she said, let me talk to my boss. He said, I could give you a $1. She said, I could give you a $1 raise in 1 year from now. That was the day I realized the definition of job, just over broke. And I realized it was my boss's job to give me a paycheck and not to make me rich. If I wanted to be rich, that was my job. So I fortunately discovered the world of internet marketing at an early age through my boss. And I eventually hired a business mentor. It wasn't even a fitness business mentor. I paid him $7,500 in 2005. I got 6 one-hour phone calls. That's it. And he told me something that really stuck with me. He said, Vince, we have a problem. You know, you've got these big goals, but you've got a small paycheck. And you've got two options. We either increase the size of your goals, we increase the size of your revenue to match the size of your goals, or you reduce the size of your goals to match the size of your paycheck. Which one is it? And that's when I realized I was missing a lot of skills and I need to invest in myself. And that's what I did. I maxed out a credit card and I got resourceful, and the rest is history. The first year online, I want to make a note that I made $10,000 online in my first year. It took another year to get to $100,000, and then that's when I quit my job. All right, those first 2 sales I made online, one came from my mom and the other one came from a guy that I knew at the gym. And I realized this wasn't going to be easy. So my next business mentor, 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗀𝗁, back in 2010, asked me, Vince, how would it feel like to wake up to 100 grand on the first of every month? I said, I have no freaking clue, 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗀, but that sounds amazing. And he introduced me to the world of monthly recurring revenue, which changed my life forever. And from that day on, I've never done anything without monthly recurring revenue. And for the last 168 months, I've done over 6 figures a month. And a lot of it comes from monthly recurring revenue. And really, he just planted this one seed in my head that if I could build a business around monthly recurring revenue, I'd have actually what I want, which is safety and security. I wasn't trying to scale. I wanted safety and security. I wanted stability. I wanted just to show my dad that I could, in fact, make a livelihood out of this. Can anyone relate to this? Am I losing you guys? You guys with me? Just nod your head so I know. Okay, sweet. All right, so that was my very first story. Oops. What did I do? There we go. That was the very first story. So now I'm doing the online fitness thing. I did this for 12 years. It was very successful. Now I'm a fitness business coach. This is the second story. How many people have a high ticket coaching offer right now? Okay, cool. So you might, anyone just kind of raise their hand, you're going to relate to this a little bit more. So this is the next story. So when I became a fitness business coach, I was around a circle of a lot of guys who are trying to get to these insane numbers, ridiculous numbers, stupid numbers, multiple 6 figures a month, $1 million a month. I didn't even know this was humanly possible, but this was the circle I was in. I'm just trying to give you an appreciation that this is what I got caught up in. And I really just started to think maybe I can do this. And it wasn't because I even knew what to do with the money. It was really just to keep up and to prove myself because I had a lot of unresolved traumas. And what happened is we did grow. I became a very successful mimic, which is what a lot of people you guys look up to become. They just do what they're told. And we did get to $500,000 to $600,000 months. We even hit two $1 million months. And it was quite insane. I had 4 marketers. I had 4 setters, 4 closers, 7 coaches, 1,000 active clients. We had over almost 300 grand a month in monthly recurring revenue. You know what I never stopped to ask in the whole freaking process? How do I protect this? How do I keep this? How do we just make sure we don't lose this? I was getting caught up in like leadership and management because that's what I was told I needed to do. I don't like leading people. I don't like managing people. I like the lean and mean machine. And I got caught up in like, you got to learn traction. You got to install this. You got to have this enterprise. You got to be built to sell. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I got to do this. I got to do. None of those things were my ideas. How many of you guys can relate to doing stuff right now that's not even your idea? And you're building a business by default and not by design. This is just the world I got caught up in. And it wasn't that long ago. Sadly, this business owned me. And it got to a point where I said some things after a long stretch of this business was just really taking a toll on my marriage. I was neglecting my family. I was neglecting my wife. Not intentionally, of course. I was raised in a Christian home. I was a good guy. I was doing what all men do. I'm providing. I've created an amazing financial wall around my family. But my business got the best of me. And my ambition got the best of me. And it came to a night 2 years ago where she said, you need a change. And I said, I don't need help. The words I'll regret the rest of my life. I said, I do not need help. And I said some things to her that I did not mean, but from the reality of her relationship with me, she said, this is the first time you've been honest your entire life. I told her I don't love you and I don't love the kids, which I did not mean. But that was her reality from her experience of how disconnected I was from her, how disconnected I was from my own kids, how disconnected I was from myself. I was obsessed with making fucking money. Excuse my French. But I was obsessed and I didn't even need it. If I just paused, we would have exited the country. We were on the way out of leaving Canada, Ontario, communist Canada. We were on the way of leaving. We had built a dream house in Franklin, Tennessee. After a year, this gorgeous home at the top of a hill with a beautiful view and everything. It was a dream home. The month that we separated was the same month that damn house closed. And I truly thought that we would be able to reconcile things and get back together and this was going to be just a temporary thing. It's been over 2 years and it looks like it's going to turn into a divorce. And I only share this because I know the cost of not building a business by design. And again, obviously there's more to my marriage issues and my personal issues than just my business. I'm not blaming this just on my business, but it didn't help. It didn't help. Is this resonating for anybody or is this too personal? You guys okay with this? I got you guys? Okay. And I share all this because I see so many entrepreneurs really just burn out and break down and they destroy their families. Again, not intentionally, but it's because they don't think about the stuff that we're going to talk about. So I want to introduce you guys to the old way of doing business and the new way of doing business. Is that cool? Okay, so the old way of business is pretty much hustle, hustle, hustle. And I think every person here is capable of doing that. I don't doubt anybody can't hustle. It really consisted of a lot of like endless short form content. Anybody sick and tired of just posting short form content? It's like, frick, is this actually what I'm going to do the rest of my life? I didn't understand like how to grow. Like I got to post 3 times a day now, 6 times a day. I got caught up in this, just trying to keep up to everybody else. All right. Then Gary V's telling me I got to be everywhere. I was on TikTok. I was on YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram. It's fucking exhausting. Like, really? This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life? And then it was complicated. We had a 2K program, then a 7K program, then an 18K program, then we had a 50K program, all these ascensions, all these renewal calls. It's complicated. All these KPIs and all these different types of offers, right? And it was very acquisition obsessed, like more. How many members are we at? We got to 100 members and 200 members. We're 300 members. I got to 300. No, how do we get to 400 members? Is this kind of sickening to some of you guys too? Are you guys kind of feeling like how crazy our industry is? Yes, because it is. Because it's run by a lot of dysfunctional people, and I love them all. God bless them. I was one of them. 99% of the world, we're all walking trauma wounds that have not been healed. So this is just comes out in our business. We're revenue focused. We chase, you know how I know that you're revenue focused? If you tell me that your goal ends in 0, because I know you've given it 0 thought. It was enough. And I'm one to blame, right? Us marketers got to get to 10K months, 100K months. It's on my freaking title, right? These are arbitrary numbers to get your attention. But if you haven't actually sat down and asked yourself, how much do I actually need? What do I want? Most of you guys are so close to your goals, it's not even funny. You could actually just kind of chill and get there if you just not try and keep up and do it everybody else's way, dysfunctional way, right? So we're very revenue focused. Revenue focused meaning like what's on the top inch of the financial statement, not what we actually put in our bank account. 𝗏𝘃𝗀𝗃 always said we're obsessed with, entrepreneurs are obsessed with revenue that feeds the ego as opposed to profits that feed the family. How many people want to feed your family? I want to feed my family, right? That's, I think, why we all got into this, if you don't mind me speaking on most of our behalves. And it was very push-based marketing, all right? It was just promo after promo, launch after launch. It was just push, push, push. It was chasing people. It was just this energy where like I always had to be on. I always had to be driven. I was jacked up on testosterone. I was jacked up on caffeine. I've been caffeine free for 2 years. And it's crazy because I didn't realize how much frantic energy, how much adrenaline I was on to actually build this business. Can anyone relate? Like I couldn't have a sales call. I couldn't have a conversation with a team member. I couldn't go to the gym without being jacked up on 300-400 milligrams of caffeine. And then I started secretly pumping up the testosterone dose. I've got nothing against testosterone, but I started to use it because I noticed I was more decisive. I was more aggressive. I was more on. So I'm like now secretly doing these things to get ahead. I had this big, fat, expensive payroll. We had a great team. Don't get me wrong. We had a great team, but it was very inefficient. We weren't like super high functioning. Had a lot of part-timers. We didn't do any of this. Reliance on low integrity gimmicks, but the old way does have a lot of people. We've always run our business in high integrity, but you kind of, every once in a while, you might kind of, say, hey, the deadline's here, you extend it a bit, stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't say we did anything that would have freaked anyone out, but you can kind of get caught up in, hey, let's try this. And it's just not stuff that, you want to do long term or you're going to feel good about. Okay. Is this making sense? How many people can relate to anything on the old way of doing things? Or maybe you're doing some of this stuff right now. Yeah? Which one? Just blurt it out. Just blurt it out. Revenue focus. Push marketing. Be everywhere. Pre on the pressure. Being everywhere. Scarcity, stress mindset. So we're not alone. All right? If you're feeling any of this, you're not alone. This is kind of like the new AA group here we're going to start for entrepreneurs. Let's talk about the new way. So the new way is what I call the freedom creator way. Freedom to me is just your ability to make a choice. That's all freedom is. Your ability to make a choice. And you can choose whatever you focus on. And guess what? Nobody can control what you focus on. That is one thing the government, social media, your parents, nobody can control what you focus on. So this is what I am focusing on right now, and this is my vision for you guys. But again, you guys don't have to do anything that I do. All right? You don't have to do anything that I do. This is just what I would do if I were you. And the truth is that everything works, but the question is does it work for you? Is it sustainable? Is it long-term? So very first thing is I want to build a content ecosystem that leads to bingeable content. What I have found is that if someone consumes my long-form content in a shorter window of time, they're going to get onto our call calendar and they're going to jump on and we don't have to sell them. My desire is not to sell anybody. I hate selling. I don't like selling. I don't mind helping people make a decision. I don't want to push you into something that you're not even ready to do. If you have to be sold by me, just go watch more YouTube content until you are sold that I could help you. And then let's talk. I tell my sales guys, don't try and sell anybody. All right. So I want to get my short form content to YouTube and my podcast and let that stuff do the heavy lifting. Is that making sense? Okay. That's why we post a lot of long form content and a lot of podcasts and YouTube stuff. I want to dominate one platform till successful. I do not want to be on every platform. I'm not trying to, even if you want to just, make a modest amount of money, you do not need to be on every platform. It is overkill. Okay. Focus on the platform that is simple for you to do and that makes you look awesome. Which one, Vince? It doesn't matter. They all work. Now what we have is one offer, one community, one curriculum, and 2 tiers of access. Call it a proximity model. So I used to have 6-figure coach, 7-figure mastermind. Now we have the Fit Pro Syndicate. All right. The Fit Pro Syndicate is all of our knowledge in one spot. We have one community, and the different tiers of access is to work with either me or a coach or in the group model. It's that simple. We've just killed off all the extra pieces, and it's a very easy way for people to come into the world. Does this sound like a lot more like simple? Yeah? Okay, cool. Again, you don't have to do it, but this is what's working really well for us. Instead of being revenue focused, we're now retention focused. I made the big mistake of just trying to drive more and more people into the business, and you've got people leaving just as fast as they're coming in, and they're good people. So you've got to realize the lifeblood of your business is people staying, not just driving new people in. All right. We're now focused on pull marketing. All right. Instead of push marketing, we're really trying to focus on how do we drive people off of Instagram onto the email list, onto YouTube, and onto the podcast. If somebody spends a couple hours with me, they won't even get to a couple hours because they're either going to love me or hate me in the first couple minutes or in the first hour, first couple episodes. Does that make sense? So we just want to get them to consume long form content. That is our complete goal and mission, to nurture them faster. Okay. You've probably heard that we're in a trust recession, right? People's level of trust is low. So we want to make sure that people like, know, and trust us. And we want to give high value videos, and we've stripped out all the production. What's interesting is I got rid of the B-roll. I get rid of the captions. I got rid of the quick cuts every 3 seconds. You got to cut every 3. Like someone can't keep their attention for 3-4 seconds, I don't want to work with them. Yeah, but Vince, that's how you cut through the noise. I'm like, I don't care. I want to find people who can actually watch a video for 60 seconds because I know what I'm saying has substance, right? If I need to do 60-second videos in 5 different angles just to keep someone's attention, I'm not playing that game. All right. So I think you've got to get to a point where you stop looking at what other people are doing and ask yourself, do I even want to do this? All right. Does this make sense? Are you guys feeling like I'm giving you permission to actually build this business the way you want to do it in a way that feels good for you? Because you can, because you're allowed. All right. There's no one right way to do this. All right. We now have a lean, profit rich, high functioning team. Over the last little while, we've doubled our profits. I have 8 team members. I used to have 40 team members. I was afraid to say that because his business must be struggling. Vince is going backwards. Because the first thing I'd say in the room if I met somebody I don't even know is, hey man, how's it going? How's it going? Good, man. Yeah, we're up to 40 team members. Holy crap, that's the first thing I say? I was one of those douchebags. I just didn't know, that was my identity in what I did. And I would be the guy that would tell you something personal about my numbers in the first 30 seconds that I meet you. All right. Now we're trying to build a brand. We're trying to build with authority, and we're trying to lead with messaging that is rooted in the vision and the values, the messenger and the message. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, which is totally fine. But if you're sold on the message that I'm sharing with you today and the messenger, then hey, we should maybe chat. That's the messaging. That's what I put out there for people who are watching my stuff. All right. So you guys can take a picture of this. This is pretty much the whole thing summarized. If you guys want to take a quick pic just to summarize it, that's really the old way, the hustle hamster wheel, and the new way, the freedom creator wheel. Okay, so let's run through these 5 steps. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. We call it the ACCEL method, and these are really pillars, all right? This isn't stuff that came out 5 seconds ago. The very first thing is audience building. Why is this important? Because if people don't know you, they can't flow you. That's a Grant Cardone quote. Money follows attention. So it is true that the biggest risk to your business is obscurity. So we do need to know how to grow attention. All right. We don't need the biggest following. But we do need an actively growing following, and we do this with the 5A factor. Okay, we're going to walk through these one at a time. The first one is authenticity. This video, crazy enough, I just shot it in my car when I was sad and depressed that I found out that we were supposed to go to Franklin, Tennessee. We had our kids enrolled into school. I talked to my ex and she basically said, no, we're not going. Again. And we're not going to the States. She's not ready to leave, which is okay. We've got to adapt to, what was going on there. And I just basically made an update about we're not going to Tennessee. It was a personal update. And this thing got so much, so many comments and so many shares, more than all my business building advice. I'm like, maybe I should just talk about all my personal problems on social media. It's the only way I get followers now. I freaking talk about my personal life. But this was just being very real. And it was really talking about a funeral for your expectations. I had all these expectations to leave the country, to have the family together and to be living, I broadcasted it for years and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. Yes. Yeah, I didn't share any of this it's embarrassing. It's freaking embarrassing because I broadcast, look at me. I'm successful. Look at this house. Look, we're leaving the country. I did it. I arrived. I had all the trophies. And it's like, no, I don't. So it's very embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's like a sign of failure. Like, well, maybe I was preaching publicly that I had this great personal life and everything, and I wasn't practicing it privately. And you always get found out. It's just a matter of time. And God said, Vince, we're not going to Tennessee. I got some work to do on you, son. And he's been working my heart hard for the last 2 years. So again, authenticity, all right? How much you share is up to you. Attractiveness. What do you stand for and stand against? I love 𝗤𝘂𝗲𝗄𝗃. I'm a big 𝗤𝘂𝗄𝗃 fan, but at the same time, he says some dumb stuff. I don't know if he does it just to get attention, but this is a meme where business owners 6 a.m. on Monday, business owners 6 a.m. on Sunday. All right? This is great for nobody. All right? Especially if you don't have kids. Obviously, the dude doesn't have kids. Great example of one-dimensional success. Again, I love the guy. He wrote the Bible on offers. We've all probably got the purple one on our bookshelf. We all learn from it, but there's some stuff that I don't stand for that. And you guys got to stand up for what you believe in. All right, this message would sink my community. Authority. How can you humble, flex, and showcase your credibility? So these are just long-form videos. It is uncomfortable to talk about numbers. But again, if you're in a competitive environment, sometimes you do have to let people know just to gain their attention. So if you've got some credentials, you do have to figure out how to get people to quickly say, hey, I should listen to this guy. Maybe I'll give him a chance at least. I'll give him one chance. All right. Audience building. This is specific to ads. I want to just share something very tactical on how we grow our following right now. And what we do is we look at videos that are getting a lot of views. So not views, follows. We look at the analytics. This particular video gets me followers. Okay. It gets me followers. And what we do is we have 7 videos of all of my YouTube, all of my Instagram videos that get the bulk of my followers. And we just boost $20 a day on these 7 different videos. So it's $140 a day. It's nothing crazy. And it brings us in a lot of followers every day for less than $1. And you can see how I edit the caption. If you're an online fitness coach and want to hit 10 to 30K per month, follow this account for more. And we just go back in, edit the caption, and the targeting is very simple. We go wide on the targeting, narrow on the messaging, and we gain followers every day. Something you guys could all implement in the next 24 hours. Really simple stuff, nothing fancy. You don't have to pay an agency to do this stuff for you. All right. Associations. All right. Part of the reason I come to the events is to meet the amazing speakers, to meet you guys, and to create content. And I look for opportunities to build associations, which is just I just needed a 5th A. Collaborations. The word I normally use is collaborations, but we want to build associations with people. How many people know the formula for meeting people that would be great to network with? Would you guys like it? I learned this from Bedros. I paid Bedros $50,000 for a year in the Empire Mastermind, then another 50K, then 100K. This is one of the coolest things he taught me. And he said, step 1, Vince, you comment on their work. Who do you want to connect with? Comment on their work on social media. Actually, genuinely comment. And then shout them out on your platform. Shout them out. And do it in your stories. Talk about, hey, Dan Martell's got this great brand new book. You should check it out. Let's try to connect with Dan. All right. and then invite them on your platform. Hey, I got this podcast. I'd love to invite you on. All right. Rarely do they ever say no because these guys understand the value of gaining attention too. And then just keep repeating that. If you're cool, they might invite you onto their platform, but I've got no attachment to the outcome. I do this because of who I am. I'm a good person. I use my following I use my platform to get good people in front of my following. Does that make sense? Really simple. Awesome. So we're moving on to, this is one of my coaches, Brandon Hale. He gets 20,000 new followers a month. He's a bodybuilder. He's just like completely got yoked the last year. He's open about everything he does and everything. And he just does these type of videos. He gets 6 million unique followers a month. He does multiple 6 figures a year with 80% profits, small team. And he just does these videos on talking about controversial stuff and muscle building specifically. He just crushes it. Cool dude, super down to earth. And that's his primary formula. He just sends people back to his application funnel and he gets clients. It's like the simplest model in the world. Content, application funnel, $300 a month coaching program. And crushes it. Great guy too. You guys follow him, Brandon Hale. So pillar number 2 is conversations. All right. Why are conversations important? Conversations lead to conversions. Conversations are what happens in the DM. You guys, I'm probably really well aware of that. So how do we do it? I'm going to give you guys 3 tactical things you guys can copy right now. So the very first thing, I just put this up. We're trying to do more and more content like this. These are called 2-step posts. You've probably seen these before. Everybody just raise your hand. You've seen the 2-step post. I call this an indirect CTA. All right. This stuff doesn't get old. It's crazy. It's so simple. So I put a post up that said, an expert told me not to start a podcast if I want to make money, but I've made 1.2 million from my podcast. Here's how I did it. And then on the next screen, it just says comment 1.2 in the comments below. Then I use mini chat, which takes 3 seconds to set up. It's really simple. And it sends in this YouTube video. And then they go watch. I think this episode is 17 minutes, a 17-minute YouTube video that I recorded in one shot. And at the end of the YouTube video, I said, if you want to learn more, hit me up on Instagram or watch the short video, which is a short form video sales letter. That's the business model right there. This is not rocket science, but we do it consistently. That's the business model right there. All right. So pillar number 2 under conversations is we send welcome videos. So when somebody comes into my world, and remember we got all these new followers coming in from the ads, I just send them a welcome video. All right. I got one for men, one for females. It's very genuine. And then we ask them, what brings you here? Just here for the free stuff or any way we can, are you looking for some help? Most of the time they say, hey, just checking you out. Yeah, I'm here for the free stuff. And then we ask them, is there any way we can support you? And we typically send them the long form content. Don't ask them for anything. All right. And then if we start chatting, it'll lead to a calendar link where we can actually help them. All right. That's the second strategy. Guys, this is really simple organic stuff. I'm showing you the top 3 things. The third thing that we do are giveaways, theme-based giveaways. So we had one just recently. We gave away $14,000 in a theme of loving your business again for Valentine's Day. And the way people win, or they tell me why they deserve it. And we have people fill out this application, and then we give money. We give away legitimate discounts. This isn't like these aren't BS discounts. We give people legitimate savings to work with us after they tell us why they want to work with us. Remember, I don't want to sell. These are people selling me on why I should pick them. And then we divide the money up amongst the people that we feel would be a good fit. And I send them a video to book a call, and we tell them about the savings that they've just qualified for. And if it's a good fit, that's how we enroll clients. How many of you guys think you guys could do these 3 things? This is like the foundation of how our students are growing. All right. Now, is there more things you can do? Absolutely. These are 3 of the really simple things you could put in play right away. This is Brooklyn, and she's one of our coaching clients. My brother used to actually teach her swimming lessons when she was like 4 years old. It's crazy. She's a super young girl in our coaching program, and she just has mastered those 5 A's, and she creates content of her making meals, and she gets like gazillions of hand raises for the recipes. And then she just starts conversations with all the people who are requesting the same recipe. She put in a dang caption and she just showed on video. She gets hundreds of inbound messages a day. That's another thing I teach our students. We don't spam. We want people to reach out to us. All right. When somebody raises their hand and reaches out to you, what are they doing with themselves? They're like psychologically telling themselves that I see value in what this person is offering, and they're creating a slipperier slope for them to eventually work with you. So we don't want to chase people. We want people coming to us. So this is the whole premise of this brand. And this is what she does masterfully. Okay. Conversions. What is a conversion? It's a mechanism of somebody transacting with you. So why is a conversion so important? Because it drives cash, clients, and changes lives. You can't serve who you can't sell. How do we do this? There's two main conversion mechanisms that we use. Number one is we sell by phone, which is something you're probably all familiar with. And it all happens via the DM. So we have conversations with people. We send them a calendar link, and then we send them some really fancy thank you page, which got tons and tons of social proof on it, which is an asset that we teach all of our students to build. And this page answers people's most common questions before they get on the phone. And really what this page does is tell people what they need to have to be successful in terms of like what they need to have, mostly in themselves, in their identity. All right. So here's who you need to be if you want to be successful. And here's what you have to have in terms of time availability. And we set the expectations on this page, and then they have a call with Marco, and that's it. So this is like our process for selling by phone, which you're probably mostly familiar with. But we also have another process, which is sell by chat. Sell by chat is really cool. And we've got actually somebody here in the room who is doing this amazingly, who we'll point out in just a moment. But sell by chat is a way to sell your program without getting on the phone with somebody. How many people would rather sell by chat and never get on the phone with people? All right. Yeah. Again, not right or wrong. They're just two different ways. So here what we have is a VSL. Somebody watches a video sales letter. It's essentially a short video that sells the vision and the values of who I am. It does not talk about the deliverables. It sells the message and the messenger. If you're sold on me, if you're sold on the message, then you might be interested in taking the next step. If they are interested in taking the next step, and we don't do sales calls, if we didn't, we would send them what's called a case study doc. It's just a short document or a short video on a slide deck, a short slide deck, where we present the offer, including the pricing. Nothing is hidden. They say, here's what we've got. Here's how to get it. That's pretty much it. In fact, the individual who's crushing this right now is in the room. Her name is Sam Slater. She's crushing it. And I actually interviewed her here yesterday. And we just talked about how she actually was at Andrew's event just a couple months ago and got started with us in September, had a 10K month, a 20K month, and then had a 40K month in December. And she doesn't take sales calls. Let's give Sam a hand. Okay? So she doesn't take sales calls, and all she does is she got the Loom video, like a pre-recorded video on top of a slide deck, just basically saying, here's my vision, here's my values, here's what I do, here's how it works, here's how much it costs. Message me back if you like if you like to work together. All right. So this is another way to sell. Okay. And it works really, really well. And now we're on pillar number 4. So engagement, what is it? It's just a fancy word for fulfillment. How do you deliver on the result? All right. Why is this important? Because this is the lifeblood of your business, your client success, right? We all know this. We don't want to be spending more time getting clients. We want to spend more time keeping our clients. That way we have a stable foundation. Okay. So how do we do it? I talked about this earlier, the one-way play, 2 tiers of access. This is how I would recommend. If I were you, this is what I would do. This is how I would set up your program. Okay. So we're going to have one program for one person that solves one problem with one promise, with one process and one price point. So if you're an online fitness coach, let's just say you charge $3,000 for 12 weeks to work with you. If they can't afford to work with you, they get the curriculum, they get the community, but they don't get the one-on-one coaching with you, and it's just half the price. It's $1,500. It's as simple as that. Does that make sense? So you have an offer with you for $3K, and then you got an offer, hey, you can't afford me. That's no problem. You can get everything but working with me, and it's half the price. Okay? So this is the one-way play. and really simplifies your life. Now, I could talk about like how to scale that up. Like right now, with Sam, what we've done is she has capacity to work with 80 clients, and she's personally working with 80 clients on her own. Now that's her capacity. And she has a capacity of 80 clients at a certain rate. And I told her, all right, now she wants to build a team. Her next coach is being filled up right now. And once she's at capacity, then you can bring on more clients. Once maybe a few leave, but at a higher rate. So she's maximizing scalability and profitability without adding like 4 or 5, side coaches who are all kind of part-time. Does that make sense? Okay, great. You guys are with me. How much time do I have? Okay, we probably won't get to too many Q&As, but actually maybe 5 minutes. So this is the last pillar, which is LTV. What is it? The total amount of money you collect from a customer over the entire duration of them being in your program. So why is this important? Because this is how you dominate a marketplace. All right. When you have more money coming in, you can spend more on acquisition if you want to grow. Okay. And you don't have to have hundreds of clients. You could have a decent base, 50 clients, 40 clients, 100 clients. You can be making great money. All right. So how do we increase LTV? Really, it's simple. So ascension opportunities is the first thing. So somebody comes through your program, you could offer them something else. Hey, we have this VIP experience, includes blood work, includes a concierge service, includes live events, and this additional thing is $10,000. So we sell them basically more of the same thing, but with more access, faster results. Another way to do it is we sell longer engagements. We've got a guy who does 400 grand a month. It's crazy, in Dublin, which is a place where you wouldn't probably expect them to be able to pay big bucks based on stats of like what the average amount of money is that somebody spends on fitness there. And he has a program, I believe it's $2,000 for 12 weeks. And then he upgrades everybody to $10,000 for 2 more years. And he just kills it on that ascension. $10,000 for 2 more years. He's got this massive community. He's doing amazing. He services the female market. Another way is to increase LTV through just increasing your price. I think that everybody here should focus on getting to $10,000 for a 12-month program at some point in time. There's a lot of marketers that say if you have a $5,000 or $10,000 program, it's almost impossible not to become a millionaire at some point. You just got to get your prices higher. It's the fastest way to get to the higher price points. All right. That was a lot. Quick recap. Was this helpful? What was most helpful? Just over here, just hear from 2 people. What was most helpful? Sorry? Tying in your personal story. Amazing. Building network. Proximity model. Okay. Most helpful over here. What'd you take away? What was most valuable? One thing. Welcome videos for new followers. Love it. One thing. What was helpful over here? A little louder. The collabs and conversations. Amazing. Awesome. All right. Well, I want to first of all thank the whole Raise the Bar team, Derek, Nick, guys in the back. You guys are amazing. They gave me an opportunity to speak here. And I asked them if I could give you guys an opportunity to take the next step. How many of you guys would benefit from getting mentored by me for free the next 6 months? Completely free. Just raise your hand. Okay, cool. Raise your hand a little higher. Okay, so check this out. What we're going to do is somebody in this room is going to get mentored by me completely free. And what I want to do is obviously set some criteria, because this isn't for everybody. And I'm going to make you work for it. Is that cool? All right. And this is only for you if you're coachable. Raise your hand if you raised your hand originally. Okay, keep your hand up if you're coachable. Okay, you're hardworking. And you're ready to start now, not like in a couple months from now. All right, that's all you guys. You can put in at least 10 to 15 hours a week in your business. Keep your hand up. You can come to at least 2 hours of group coaching calls a week. Amazing. Okay, so here's what I want to do for you guys. Pull out your phone. And what I've done is I put together an exclusive offer for the attendees of this event. And I am going to give away 1 full ride into my brand new mentorship program, the Fit Pro Syndicate, proven frameworks to unlock consistent 20, 40, and even 80K months. And we're going to give away 5 partial scholarships. So go to this QR code in just a moment. The deadline to enter is tonight at 9 p.m. And we are going to announce the winner on my social media at 12 p.m. on Monday. So this is legit. You guys can all check my social media and make sure that we gave this away to somebody in this room. You can ask them to, in fact, verify that this is going to happen. And what you got to do is tell me why you deserve it. As I mentioned, we're not looking for clients. We're looking for success stories. So this is just an opportunity for you to tell me why you deserve to be mentored for the next 6 months completely free. And the reason that I do this is really to pay it forward. I've done very well, and I really want to see you guys succeed. So this is really just my way of helping somebody, and I'm truly, truly grateful for the chance to speak here and be able to repurpose this content for my brand and all that. So hit that QR code. Has everybody got that QR code? And we can go to some Q&A really quick, maybe 2 or 3 questions. How am I for time? I don't want to go over if we're already there. Okay, got 5? Okay, cool. Great. Does everybody have this QR code? Raise your hand if I should see your entry. Don't worry, you won't hurt my feelings. All right, cool. Awesome. So I'm just looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's just stand up just because I'm going to I want you guys to have a little public accountability here. All right, just stand up if you're going to take action. Again, perfect. So we got some action. Let's give the action takers a round of applause. Okay, I want to take your questions. I got 5 minutes. Who can I help on anything that came up today? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that example you gave with the 3K for the coaching, but then half the price. What would that look like without the access? Would just be the content.
So
and the videos?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so on the proximity model, 2 tiers of access. For your rates, you're going to have check-ins. They're going to have one-on-one calls with you. If they're not doing the VIP access with you, they're going to get access to the curriculum, the community, and the community group calls. But they won't have any one-on-one access. Yeah. So really what you're doing is like one of the big lies in this industry is like, don't sell your time for money. How many people have heard that? Who would tell Taylor Swift that, who made $100 million on her last tour? Who would tell Tom Brady, don't trade your time for money, made $300 million in the last 10 years? So the whole idea of don't sell your time for money is stupid if you're not charging enough money. Does that make sense? When you're charging peanuts, that's when it's a stupid idea. But trading your time for money is one of the best things you can do if you charge a lot of money. So get this whole idea out of your head. Like, if you only want to make, if you want to make, say, $20,000 a month and you could get, 10 clients paying you $2K a month, that's a freaking great business. That's a great freaking business to clear $20K a month of profits with a lean team. I know guys who make $100,000 a month and they don't even pocket $10,000. You're way ahead. So you guys got to just really figure out, what does success look like for me? Next question. I'd have to figure out, what do you do? Yeah, do it. If it works, I do have a couple private clients that aren't in fitness. We could talk about that. Yeah. If it's out of my zone of genius, I had an electrician guy who wanted to work with me. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't even know how to do the circuits in my own house. So I'm not going to coach. If it's out of my zone of genius, I'll just say no. But if it's something I'm comfortable with, it's a high ticket coaching model, we can talk. Yeah. Next question. One more question. Sweet. I guess I blew you guys all away. No questions? Okay, one more question.
I'd be curious how you balance your work and your personal life. Because I know you talked a lot about your personal life and how, that the work obviously had an impact on that. And yeah. I know a lot of people in this room probably work, right? And we always get to a point where we're like, all I want to do is replace my income. And then you meet that, and then you go to the next thing and then the next thing. Yeah. And it's like you keep building, right? And
this is probably the best. Thank you for asking that, Chad. There's this mythical illusion that when you get to this next level of income, that it is going to fill some void in your life, and it is not true. If you're not happy with the amount of money that you're making right now, with the model you have, and you get to the next level, all you've done is scaled misery. So you have to first figure out the model that you have. Like, you have to love the model you have right now. And if we want to grow it, that's great. That way you're also happy when you get there as well. But there's this thing called the rich line, and it is always moving. It is always moving. So we have to understand that a lot of these goals that we set are arbitrary numbers that somebody else came up with, and that we never actually sat down and asked, what do I need? What do I want? So the first thing is to figure out, what do you need? What do you want? Do you want to clear 10K a month after taxes? Is it 30K a month after taxes? Once you figure out that number, I would do simple money math. Figure out, how many clients do I need? How many can I enroll per month? And then decide on the boundaries you're going to set in order to get there. So you got your North Star. And I would say, hey, I refuse to do this working past 3 o'clock. If it takes working past 3 o'clock, it's not worth it. If I have to work on weekends, it's not worth it. If I have to work, if I need a team of 8, it is not worth it. So you define the rules. You set the rules. And then once you got that North Star, I would just figure out, like, what are you not willing to sacrifice in order to hit that? And then build the entire model around serving you. And I want to just share like one last thing, that, and I'm going to be fully done, that a recent mentor really, he just said something to me that struck me deep at the core. And he noticed I was trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And he said, Vince, I can see that you're a family man, and you're really focused on just taking care of your team, taking care of your clients, which are great things. You want to take care of your team. You want to take care of your clients. Hear me carefully. He said, but your team and your clients are not your family. Your family is your family. Your kids are your real family. Your team is not your family. Your clients are not your family. Your family is your family. So build the business around what serves them, so you don't go and make the same mistake that I did, and you can keep your family intact, and you can have it all, but you've got to have those standards, and you just got to hold to them. Thank you.